Every morning at 8 o'clock, Emma would walk into the same coffee shop, the same corner table, the same hot latte, the same silence. Her life had become a routine. Home, work, home. She was 32 and had begun to believe that love only existed in the movies. But that morning, everything changed. A ding rang from the door and a man entered. Tall, handsome, with slightly disheveled dark hair, a worn leather notebook in his hand. He ordered black coffee and sat down at the table opposite Emma. Their eyes met for a moment, a brief moment. Then they both looked away. The next morning, there he was again. Same time, same table, same black coffee. Emma found herself thinking about him. Who was he? What had he written in that notebook? Why did he always look so lost in thought? Days turned into weeks. They never spoke. But there was something between them. A silent understanding. A wordless connection. Just a look. Sometimes she would catch him looking at her, and her heart would still for a moment. Sometimes he'd smile slightly, and Emma would pretend not to notice. One rainy Tuesday morning, Emma arrived at the coffee shop, soaked. She'd forgotten her umbrella, and the storm had caught her off guard. Her hands were shaking as she ordered a latte. Was it a rough morning? She turned around. It was him. His voice was warm and gentle. You could say that, Emma replied, trying to hide her surprise that he was actually talking to her. Here, she said, offering him her jacket. You're cold. I can't take your jacket, Emma protested. I insist. He draped it over her shoulders. She smelled of coffee and old books. By the way, I'm Daniel. Emma. For the first time in weeks, they sat at the same table. The conversation flowed smoothly, as if they'd known each other for years. Daniel was a writer, working on his first novel. He came to the coffee shop every morning because it was the only place where words came easily. What about you? He asked. What brings you here every day? Emma hesitated. Honestly, I was running away from loneliness. But lately, she paused, looking into his eyes. Lately, I've been coming here hoping to see you. Daniel smiled. A real smile this time. I do the same. From that day on, they were inseparable. Morning coffees turned into afternoon walks, and afternoon walks into dinners. Emma discovered Daniel loved old jazz music and terrible wordplay. Daniel learned that Emma was an architect who had given up her dreams to work for a corporate firm. Why did you stop? Daniel asked one evening as they walked along the riverbank. I was scared, Emma admitted. I was scared of failing. I was scared of taking risks. Daniel stopped walking and turned to her. Emma, the biggest risk is not taking any. You taught me that. Did I teach you that? How? Every morning, I watched you sit alone in that cafe, and you seemed so content in your solitude. It made me realize that sometimes we choose solitude because it feels safer than opening our hearts. But that morning, when I finally spoke to you, it was the best risk I ever took. Emma's eyes welled with tears. I was never content, Daniel. I was just waiting for something or someone to remind me that life wasn't just routine. Emma took Emma's hands in hers. So let's make a promise. No more playing it safe. No more running away from what we truly want. So what do you want? Emma whispered. You. I want you, Emma. I want to be with you every morning, every afternoon, and every evening. Then under the streetlights, as the city buzzed around them, he kissed her. It was the kind of kiss that made him believe in love again. Months later, Daniel finished his novel. It was a love story between two strangers in a coffee shop. Emma left her corporate job to start her own architecture firm. designing dream homes for those who dare to dream. And every morning at 8 o'clock, they still went to the same coffee shop. But now they were sitting together. A love that began with the same table, 2 lattes, and a single look. Because sometimes the person you're waiting for is waiting for you too. Love finds us in the most unexpected places, right? Sometimes all it takes is a moment of courage to change everything. If this story touched your heart, I'd love for you to join our community. Click the subscribe button and be a part of our journey. Every week, we bring you stories about love, hope, and the beautiful unpredictability of life. Don't miss out. Subscribe now. And let's continue to fall in love with these stories together. See you next time.